into a wave. It actually turns into the beginning of what's called a celestalline wave, which is turning the whole entire structure into light radiation so it can then move to another spot and come back out again into manifestation. It is the process by which Stargate passage is done when your body is working normally. It is also the process by which the universe and the cosmos live and breathe and are eternal, where there are phases where they go into light and then they come back out into manifestation and individuality, and then come back into light and go back into source and then come back out again. And it's perpetual motion universe. Next one, please. We learned about how the Rasha body creates actually what's called elemental command. It is in the Rasha body that there is something called the Navajo cell, that is the cell that phases and creates the beginnings of what become the periodic table of elements. This is the regular periodic table that you can find on the internet. There is one that the beloveds have given us too. Next one, please. There are 144 natural elements. They're broken down into the 5 elemental commands. So all of this information is covered. We've covered it in various ones. I didn't even have time to fill all these in yet, right? But each one of them would be, it's like the periodic table, but it goes up to 144. And these would all have their adjugate corresponding on the Adore side. And when you combine one here with its adjugate, it creates the celestalline wave. It begins the process of that merging at the center that creates the ability of the matter form to turn to light by combining with its spirit body. That's done through combining with its adjugate, who is connected to its spirit body over there. All right, so it's a whole huge process we're involved in, but it's very complex, but it's also simple. It's basically a simple process. But the elements, they start here. These all correspond. By the way, these lines and going up this way, I believe, correspond to. I'm just learning this one too. I used to know it, I forgot it because it's been too long. I think these correspond to the Allurian chamber lines. Yeah, the 12 Allurian chambers, and then going across, these correspond to what are the rings in the spans in the Rasha body. So all of this is very intricate and plugs right into the structure that they've been trying to teach us about all along of the Rasha bodies. And the Rasha bodies set the structure for the light body structures. So the 15 Jaleesic layers or rings of the Rasha body structure sets the form for what become the 15-dimensional layers of the light body structure that we've talked about in Kathara. Next one, please. Next one, honey. Yeah, thank you. Right. This is just showing you how the adjugate situation works in relation to the elements in the 144 elements in the periodic table. Now, some of them don't have names here yet, and some of them have really silly names. Right? They're coming up with some really wacky names like Einsteinium and these kind of things. It's like, are they running out of ideas or what? Right? Yeah, it is. It's on the periodic table on the science one. There's some other really strange ones. A Californium, that's another one. Yeah. Well, at least you got 49 more there. Ohioium. But when you plot them, okay, when you take that chart that showed them where you had the Allurian chamber line running down, up and down vertically, and the span line running across this way. So they were numbered like 1, 2. They're numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, then 12, 13, 14, 15. So the numbers went that way. You can also plot them this way, and this is how you find out their adjugates. So if hydrogen is 1, its adjugate is 7. Now, the number refers to the proton number. All right, that's the atomic number. So if a thing like hydrogen has 1 proton, right, nitrogen has 7 protons. This is how you begin to understand the relationships. And there's all sorts of things. They haven't gotten into the chemistry, but boy, when you get to this level of understanding how things and how they're supposed to bond and how they're not supposed to be bonded, you'd probably really be frightened of everything in this world. As far as what we breathe, what we eat, what we wear. I mean, there are certain things that are natural and certain things that are not. And right now, the elemental base on this planet has been heavily mutated by the black hole technologies that have been progressively employed here. So these are the natural state relationships. They will eventually teach us about those too, but right now they're not going to go there. They're going to teach us about the music first. They're going to teach us how to sing them together rather than worrying about mixing them together in test tubes. Right? Yeah. So anyway, this just shows you, going all the way up to somewhere up here. I think down here, is there one more? We have 144 somewhere. Yeah. From 1 to 144. They are the naturally occurring elements that come from the first 12 of the 15 gelesic layers and the 12 Illyrian chamber lines. All right, next one, please. Oop. I didn't even see him go. This is just to remind us, and I'm not going through this one again, ever. Right? This was how the light body structure was built from the first Taran, and the Taran is born when the Illumeridana spirit body is birthed. At that same point, the Taran point of light is birthed at the center of it. And so the light body structure begins to emerge. The inner light body structure starts to grow in the Illumeridana spirit body and from the Taran. So you have the Taran, the Maiad, the Dyad, the Monad, the Maria. Is this yet? Yeah. Maiad. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not even going to try to read these. I used to have them memorized, but I have so many other things memorized now I can't remember these. But this is the 1728 cell Edon. No, this one is. This is 144 divine blueprint. These are all Partakai power. I mean, all of these were measured in quantum, like how much Partakai power it has, and that goes back to the I God stuff that gives you an idea of how much Partakai power has, even in terms of ohms and ers and roos, which are increments of measuring cosmic electricity. So, yeah, it's like really heavy. It can be really heavy on detail, some of this. This takes us all the way up through as the light body is birthing. All of this from the central creation point, right, at the point where the Taran came in the center of the Illumeridana, comes up to the Unici, which is the inner seed atom. Then it progresses into, next one please. It progresses into the birthing of the Eucatharista body, which would be this one, the big one at the top of the stairway to heaven. And the Eucatharista body then births the they call it the Akasha Aya. Two Akasha Aya, one on the Atori side and one on the Adori side, equal Eucatharista. All right, so the Eucatharista is the two of them put together. The Akasha Aya is the one, if you're referring to one of them. And inside of that, it then births out or smaller replicas of this whole large structure, still all within the spirit body, the cosmic spirit body within the spirit body. But it does the 4 Akasha A, and then there's the 4 Akasha A, the 4 Akashas within each of the Akasha A, and there's actually 2 Akashas at the center, so there's 24 Akashas, 16 on the outside, and then 8 more in the center. And it just births the Ekamap, so the God World Gates, and these are the bones, and wherever you see the bones, there are spheres within spheres within spheres, but these would be of light body, which would be of Mane currents that were coming in from the Taran. So all of this fits together, and it comes out in the things that we've been being taught all along, but it all exists within and grows within the spirit body, which grows first. Next one, please. And it's through that whole process that we've talked about before that all of these bodies are Huva bodies, things that we've seen in the early days of this work, where we get our unified field, we turn on our entire light body structure. That also would imply the Rasha body structure and the spirit body structure. It is the process by which we ascend. It's a process that's supposed to occur in natural stages, the birthday chart, that by the age of 33, we would naturally be able to go into an Adashi return cycle. If we were just a 12-strand being and not one that was capable of going this way, when you get to the point here, there's actually, it's called the Bardo point, where you can properly dye the body, but you don't dye it and leave it behind. You actually vacate it first and then progressively turn it to vapor and take it with you and collect yourself as vapor and go back through into the center, and then you can come back out into the Adashi return cycles and go into the Adashis that way. That was how angelic humans had been designed originally, to be able to go that way. Now the other ones that carried more strand They could go through what are called folds. We'll see the bit later that talks about the folds. But there are 4 folds. One would occur here at the end of, this would be stage 2 of the Kali Krista. Once we get out of here, all right, we evolved all the way past the density 1, density 2, density 3, density 4 to enter the density 5 cycle, which corresponds with the Dashi 1. This is where we would start here, the Kali-Hara cycle. Over here, we would start, this would be stage 2, the Kali-Krista cycle. At the end of the Kali-Krista cycle, there would be fold number 1. And we'll see later what the folds are about. Then we'd have another stage 3, fold number 2, stage 4, fold number 3, and stage 5. Stage 5 would be the 4th fold. And the fold is about literally bringing it all back into the center in order to allow for it to expand back out in the Adashi turnaround. And it's about bringing the matter body through without turning it to vapor. So there will be, because of the upgrade that's being given genetically, there will be people on this planet that will be able to graduate to this biologically. Not everybody has to. It's a choice. Some people will choose the fast way. This is the long way. Right to here will take 223 years from where we are. Right? So for those of us who are going to do the long haul down here and hang out and see how long we can hang out to try to hold the fort, don't all jump at once.